Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Some folks still coming in. Welcome once again to this beautiful space here in the library. We will, and again, please sit up front. As you all know, it's also a day of giving here at the university, so it's a special day for us. College of Arts and Humanities is, of course, competing with all the other colleges. So thanks to all who have donated. Thanks to all of you who were part of our crowd fundraiser event. We actually reached a record of $26,000, which will allow us to do a lot of things next year, and that's great. So a bit about Azorian folklore traditions. They're pretty much a testament to the rich tapestry of the Azores. Sometimes when people talk about the Azores, everybody's like a particular tradition or like a particular type of characteristic. But it's 9 islands, as the students from the Azores class are tired of hearing me talk about it. But it is 9 islands separated by the sea, and they've developed their own identity from island to island. It's just natural that they would. It's not like you could get in a horse and buggy and go from Lisbon to Sintra or go from Lisbon to another. You just, even within the Azores up until the latter part of the 20th century, as students in my Azores class know when we talk about this, the major transportation method in the 1960s until 1968 in the Azores was the ox cart. So it's a total different world than what it is, of course, today. So the traditions basically are steeped in history and they're passed down through generation. They reflect, as I mentioned, diverse influences shaping the Azores. The folklore is a colorful mosaic of customs, of stories, of music, of dance, and they're deeply rooted in the islanders' daily life. So from very beautiful melodies, from the regional guitar to the vibrant costumes and the slow or lively movements of the folk dances, Azorian folklore is really a living expression of each one of the islands. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Azorian folklore is its fusion of different cultural elements. So over the centuries, there's been the influence in the Azorian folklore by the Portuguese, obviously, by the Flemish, by the Moors, and by the Africans, creating a blend that is truly unique to this region. Folklore traditions, as some of the traditions evolved around the Festa do Espírito Santo, the street dances, the processions, amongst other practices, provide a captivating glimpse into what really is the Azorian soul. These traditions served, and still do in many ways, a source of entertainment. Most of all, they play a vital role in preserving the island's rich history, whichever island it is, and fostering community and belonging. Azorian folklore is a living testament to the islanders' resilience, the adaptability, and the pride in heritage. So we're proud here at PBBI to register these stories with the Azorian roots through our oral history program, which, by the way, we now have over 72 oral histories done. So we are officially the largest Portuguese oral history program in the West Coast of the United States. And so we're very, very proud of that work. So we're going to have these two young men here that have agreed to perform for us. They're widely known throughout the Portuguese American community here in Central California. Michael is an alumnus here of Fresno State of the Jordan College of Agricultural Science and Technology. David Santos is a very well-known musician also from Kings County. So please give a big welcome to Michael and David. So we'll start with, and I'll bore you a little bit between songs, so be ready for that. But just a little bit about the guitar that Michael's playing, which is the guitars. The 15-string guitar is from the island of Terceira, and it's unique. As a matter of fact, I was doing a bit of research, and I have a cousin of mine who plays the guitar there, and he reminded me to not call it viola da terra, because it is not called. The viola da terra is the viola that is a 12-string, a lot of times with 2 hearts, and it's played. It's not only in São Miguel, it's actually the viola that's used in most of the islands of the Azores, except Terceira. They had to complicate things and they put a 15-string guitar in. And so it's called Viola Regional Terceirense, or that is the way it's called, viola regional, because it's regional, but it's terceirense. It's not called viola da terra, and they have a big tidbit about calling it viola da terra because it's different than the other one. But I said, is it not the same thing? Is it not viola da terra from Terceira, and the other one's viola da terra from the other islands? No, it's not. So the viola da terra, it of course has roots in Portugal. It has roots in many other instruments that are played in mainland Portugal. We don't know when the viola basically became popular in the Azores. We do know that it's been part of the Azorean scene since the 15th century. So Gaspar Frutuoso was our first historian. He was a priest from the island of São Miguel and wrote a wonderful volume of the presence of the Azorians. And he claimed that they arrived with the first settlers, and then they developed their own kind of style from island to island. But there are registries of guitars in the Azores in 1479. So that's just 40 years after discovery, and basically when the islands were first being discovered. He also tells us that in the latter 1500s and early 1600s, the viola was part of what the groom would take as a wedding gift from his parents. If they had money, it was a sign of wealth. You were taught how to play the viola, and the father of the groom usually gave the groom a viola so he could have as a family heirloom to start his own family. We're going to start with the first song called Charamba. It's from the Baile Regional Terceirense, the traditional dances. The lyrics that usually accompany these songs and this song greet the audience. So it's actually like an opening melody. And the singers basically talk in the lyrics about the group, about welcoming people to the presentation, and just these songs have adapted from ages to ages. So these things were not written down until the 20th century. So in the 1800s and 1700s, it was just people ad-libbed, improvised these lyrics. And so Charamba is the song that usually starts the Azorean called Baile Antiga, or the old dances. That was Charamba. The next song is called Lira, and Lira is known as one of Terceiras and of the Azores. Many other islands have a Lira. So a lot of these songs are go from island to island. They may have a different melody, but a lot of them go from island to island. But Terceira's Lira is probably known as the best love song of all of the different liras in the Azores. It's a song that goes beyond itself. There are many versions, but one of the best known versions is the love between a shepherd and who comes down to announce the death of the person he was in love with. And it's profoundly moving verses, very captivating melody as you'll hear, and I hope you can hear the melancholy and the sadness of the sense of loss in every single chord of Lira.
Okay.
I was just asking Michael because a guitar just like that though was just basically given to PBBI here at Fresno State. Michael has it. He's going to be teaching a course. We'll announce it at the end by the government of the Azores. An agreement we have with the government of the Azores, and the idea is to quite possibly get another 2 of these guitars, the 15-string guitar, and to pass this beautiful tradition to younger generations, and PBBI is happy to be part of this movement with a couple of community organizations and led by Michael. So the next song is probably the Ex Libris of the Azores. It's called Saudade, that wonderful word that Portuguese like to say that cannot have any translation. And Saudade is Portuguese and it's also Galician. And it claims, as I said, no direct English translation. However, a close translation, according to the English dictionary, is desiderium, which is described as an ardent desire of longing, especially a feeling of loss or grief for something lost. It's the best we can do. It is more than that, although it's a word that refers to a deep philosophical longing for something that's like lost forever. The feeling involves recognizing life's transience while desiring something much more permanent. It is a painful feeling, yet you earn for it because you only feel saudade when you're deeply in love, basically. You have to love a person, a place, in order to feel saudade. Moreover, it often carries a repressed knowledge of the object of longing that might never return. In other words, saudade brings sad and happy feelings together, sadness for missing and happiness for having experienced that feeling. Saudade from the island of Terceira is probably known as of all the islands as the most sentimental of all songs. Saudade. The next song from Saudade is another classic, Olhos Pretos, Black Eyes. It's also known as Olhos Pretos da Terceira, but that I know of, it's actually the only island that has that particular song. Before a brief intro, I want to thank, first of all of the students and everyone who's here, and I want to thank our MCJ partners, Professor Candace Egan back there doing all of the work, and the students, our director, and all of the students who are here recording not only for our PBBI Fresno State YouTube channel, but most importantly because we are beginning the process of our third documentary based on our oral histories, and it will be based on artists. So we'll be interviewing writers We'll be interviewing poets. We'll be interviewing musicians. We'll be interviewing some singers. And it's about the world, the artistic world within the Portuguese-American experience in Central California, which will hopefully be out probably 2025. By the same token, in 2026, we hope to have another documentary, which is the history of the Sister City Foundation, Teleri Angra. It's the oldest Sister City program of any city in all of Portugal with the United States. It'll be commemorating 60 years in 2026. It was set up very few years after, just a brief amount of time after the Eisenhower people-to-people program that eventually then kicked off a few years later the Sister City relationship. And so the Sister City has partnered up with Fresno State for many different things, the Sister City Foundation Teleri, including some of the sweets here today. I want to thank President Carmen Pinheiro, who's back there. Give her a big hand if you like the sweets. She baked them herself. Not really, no, it was Portuguese bakery. But anyway, thanks to the Sister City for their partnership, and we're very happy to be registering that story as well. So Olhos Pretos is from the island of Terceira also. It's a melody that has deep roots and very strong cultural significance, and as all of them do. Olhos Pretos translates, as I said, to black eyes. The song often tells of a captivating story that revolves around things of love, romance, and the natural beauty of the islands. The lyrics of Olhos Pretos are known for their poetic and heartfelt expression of emotion, reflecting the Azorians' passionate and sentimental nature. Set against the backdrop of the island's landscapes and the dramatic seascapes, this song, like Saudade, evokes a sense of nostalgia and longing. The music of Olhos Pretos enchants listeners with its unique blend of Portuguese maritime history and the Portuguese presence in Africa, all within Azorian influences, creating a cultural tapestry woven with history, folklore, and the enduring spirits of, or the enduring spirit, I should say, of the Azorians. So Olhos Pretos from Terceira is not merely a song, but really a cultural treasure that embodies the island's identity and people. This folk song is a testament to the island's traditions, its values, timeless beauty, and symbolizing all of the Azores and the cultural tapestry that it is, cherished by each person that still lives in the archipelago. Olhos Pretos. have two more songs. Our next song, I know it's tiring for them, going one after another, after another, after another. Doce Esperança is literally translated to sweet hope, which holds a profound significance in the hearts of the Azorian people. Hope is one of our eternal words, for it's been the guiding light throughout many of the trials and tribulations of our history. As you know, the Azores are isolated in the vastness of the Atlantic Ocean, connected to the world today like everyone with the internet, but that has not always been the case. And even with the internet, you're still in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The Azores have faced natural disasters, earthquakes, just had one interstate island this afternoon, volcanic eruptions and economic challenges. In the face of adversity, hope has been the driving force that has really helped the Azorians endure. The Azorians have learned to embrace hope as a cornerstone of their identity, enabling them, us, to remain resilient, optimistic, and steadfast in the pursuit of a better future. A future that at times has only been possible in America and right here in the Valley. This enduring hope can be seen in the Azorian community here throughout the Valley, traditions and preserving our unique cultural heritage, which fosters a strong sense of belonging and unity even outside of the Azores and even in second, third, and fourth generations. Fortunately, in most cases, that hope has transpired into better opportunities for those who have immigrated. So hope is indeed part of the Azorian daily routine. It's inspired lots of works of art, lots of traditional music, dance, poetry, storytelling, provide a channel to articulate dreams and aspirations. This hope is part of our collective consciousness, where one always envisions, even from afar, a prosperous future for the islands. Being in the middle of the Atlantic, hope is very important. Whether one of the things that one always has is hope that things either will get better in the island or that it will take you somewhere where things will be better for you and for your family. So, Doce Esperança, a very Azorian theme song. And our last song, like all popular folk songs in various cultures, the themes, as you've seen throughout, hope, love, courting, and in this next song, and as I said, the last one is called Branca Flor, or White Flower, and it is basically comparing the beauty of a white flower with the beauty of love, and as you'll hear, it's a more upbeat song, a livelier song. A lot of the songs from Terceira and most of the islands are, São Miguel is the only one that has a bit of a livelier tone to it. The other islands, and in São Jorge, they're very, very even toned down, more than they are in Terceira, and in Graciosa and some other of the islands. Reason being that most of these songs were danced inside the home, what we used to call in the Azores, o meio da casa. And so it's not like, even though there were dirt floors, it's not like people had a lot of room and they were going to hop all over, okay? The dances that you hop a little bit more were the ones that were done outside. But a lot of these happen during the springtime or wintertime. And so it wasn't before festas were a thing. It was things that people did at home, basically to entertain themselves, okay? It wasn't just to show that this is the way it was done 100 years ago or 200 years ago. It's what they were doing in the 15, 16, 17, and 1800s, and even 1900s before the groups themselves in the Azores began about 60, 70 years ago. Before then, there weren't any folklore groups. It was just people got together and did this, as a community. So Branca Flor is, as I said, not a slow pace, and so it is a bit more lively, and here it is. Thank you so much to both of you. On behalf of PBBI, thank you all for attending. A couple of notes. Also, first of all, to remind you that Michael will be doing a class with a 15-string guitar. It starts on the 27th of February at the TDS Hall. It's called Azorian Strings. And he'll be teaching the 15-string guitar and other instruments. You can have other people also assist him. So the idea that PBBI is involved is because we have been able to get the one guitar from the Azores, and we're able to then pass this and it's part of what we do at Fresno State to register the history and to create our own narratives. I'd like to ask our dean, Nora Chapman. She's been very busy today. Today's Day of Giving, as you've seen, and as I mentioned also, and I have it right here. Just a couple of words, if you don't mind. Thank you, Dean. Nora Chapman is the Dean of the College of Arts and Humanities, one of the three colleges PBBI is part of, and where a lot of art things happen, including this great project with MCJ, because this is so unique that the students who actually will be working in broadcast are able to do this. It's good for us as a community. It's good for them for this hands-on. And so thanks to Professors Candace Egan and Kelly McCoy, who have been great throughout this whole journey during the last 5 years. Dean Nora Chapman, please. Please welcome her.
Thank you so much, Dinesh. All of you know that Portuguese Beyond Borders Institute is a labor of love of Dinesh Borges, who from the beginning, from its inception, imagined something that would grow and incorporate amazing music on a 15-string guitar and allow us to experience Azorian Portuguese culture and art and literature, poetry, everything that is of the culture here at Fresno State and via media channels. You've heard him on the radio. You have actually experienced Dinesh on so many different platforms. And on top of it all, he has managed to start a publication series through our press at California State University, Fresno, which is housed in the College of Arts and Humanities. Bruma Publications will be bringing forth books that pertain to Azorian Portuguese literature and culture. He's already published several, and the one on fables with the language, the Portuguese language on one side and the English on the other is possibly my favorite, Dinesh. I read it and I share it with family members because it helps me learn Portuguese. I'm a professor of Latin and Greek. Latin, the Portuguese will tell you, is closest, Portuguese is closest to Latin. I am learning it through your book. Thank you very much, Dinesh. And I want to invite you to come back to more of our events. I see so many students here tonight, and it's really exciting because, and future students, because we want you to continue to join us at Fresno State, to come to events in all our different venues. This is perhaps the most gorgeous, and your music made it even more spectacular. And I see community members as well who have made PBBI strong, and we really value your support because without it, Dinesh could not do all the marvelous things he does. So thank you so much for being here, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and continue to enjoy the beautiful food that was provided by our wonderful supporters, because this is how Portuguese Azorians gather. You understand the culture. It's around food and family and community. So thank you for being here, and have a lovely evening.
aula para tocar a guitarra portuguesa? Não? Ah, então pronto, então temos. Eu já falei, I've spoken to Vivian about it.
Yeah, she mentioned a little bit of it.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a budget, so we'll look at it and see if it can be done with maybe her, and maybe just her. I think could be fine actually. Just, because we do a program like this.
Yeah,
it's for students.
Simple.
It's not something that's just going to be an hour and a half pop, like songs,
like a whole night.
Yeah. It's just something that. Okay. So anyway, I think people want to talk to you. You're a star. We're all cousins. We're all related.
That's a nice surprise.
Thank you for coming out and joining us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it was like hard to get here because of the traffic, but
Oh yeah, there was a lot of traffic.
good.
I didn't know you were performing.
I
Yeah,
know, you walked in, we're like,
yeah. No, I signed up with Mike. I don't know, over a month ago. They just I left that at like 3:35, and I got here at 10 minutes.
yeah, but it was packed.
So much
It was so hard.
And there's a concert over here.
Oh, there is?
The Jonas Brothers. Yeah, I was like, oh, Mike said, postpone. Push it forward.
And Mike is from where?
To Larry.
Oh, he lives in Larry.
Yeah, we've always had that.
You play together all the time?
Mike, we play a lot, and actually now I play in their folklore, the Tulare folklore.
We have to do the units.
You need to get hooked up with that.
Yeah,
How does one get hooked up with that?
it's easy. It's just somebody say the